Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, internet world, and welcome to Auto Merch Talk. It's a podcast where we talk about different automotive stuff happening in the industry, and we try to post every week. So if you guys like what you see, obviously like and subscribe and hit the like button. Today's topic is pretty interesting. It's about what dealers are doing to deal with the shortage of vehicles from the new cars because of the chip shortage. What do you guys think is happening now with dealers?
So I've noticed a couple things coming out. Dealers are trying to get creative with their used cars. So it seems like dealers are rebalancing their inventories. They're losing a lot of their new cars, obviously, to the chip shortage. So they're filling up the lots with used cars. Now the question is, how? How are they acquiring them? How are they going about and doing that? Edwin, you have any ideas?
There's some dealers that what they're doing is they're giving the salespeople different spiffs to actually go out and purchase vehicles on the street. There's some dealers that have actually done this, and one dealership said out of 10 cars that they bought in 1 month, they were able to make about $40,000 gross profit.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're giving their salesmen spiffs between $200 to $400 extra for them purchasing these cars in the street.
Wow.
They also been doing a lot. I mean, this has always been something that people do. You know, the salespeople, they go into the service departments and things like that. Now they're actually hitting that hardcore, trying to get these.
Yeah. Now, if you had this opportunity back in your day when you were in the dealerships, would you have taken advantage of it?
I think I would have, because the thing we used to do was I had to walk my lot in the morning.
Yeah.
To see if that car that you were looking for, maybe somebody traded in last night while I wasn't here. I really never thought about searching out in the street, which is something weird because
especially nowadays, you know,
we could have dealers could have been doing this.
That's
for
true.
a while now.
That's true.
Right.
It seems like, I mean, it gives the sales guys obviously the opportunity to make money on the front and the back end, which is, you know, that's basically unheard of for sales guys. And it was a really creative discussion that he was having about that, an idea that he came up with. And he said he made, I believe, 40,000. He said,
yeah, 40,000.
So
off
of 10 vehicles, that's crazy. That's profit, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, it definitely seems like dealers are going out of their way to acquire new cars or new used cars to fill up their inventories. Mm-hmm. I also heard some discussion about dealers that are keeping their sales hyper local. So out of towners will come in and they'll say, hey, you know, I want to buy a car. You know, say Joe Schmo from Florida will come in and say to North Carolina dealer, hey, I want to purchase one of your cars. And I know the dealers are sometimes rejecting them because inventory is so tight. They want that local business because they know they'll create that relationship with the local buyer. And obviously that goes to everything in the dealer, what I consider an ecosystem, you know, from, you know, reselling them, retargeting them with new promotions to service and everything like that. You know, so they want to keep that business localized.
Yeah, that was one of the points that I was reading in an article also. It said that if you were not local and did not have a trade-in, they would not sell you a car.
Yeah, that's smart. I mean, if you think about it,
they just needed to replace the inventory. Basically, they don't want to.
Yeah, exactly. Because when, you know, and obviously in this market, dealers, they can make up the rules however they want. You know, most times you're fighting for a sale, and nowadays it seems like it's the seller's market.
And inventory is short because there's some dealers out there that they usually have, let's say, between 70 and 95 used cars or something. Yeah. Now they have 15, 20, some of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like they had to get creative to start getting all these cars.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's good that dealers are finding ways to keep restocking their inventory, and getting creative with everything they're doing. I've also heard in a related article that currently with the algorithms that some products use to price the market of the cars, the pricing tools and acquisition, they're having a hard time keeping up with the fluctuations of the used car inventory and the new sales that are going on. So every time a dealer sells a car, you know, it goes into a database. And obviously, they usually send out a price list, usually once a month. I've heard from Black Book and products like that, even Viato with their algorithms. But now the price fluctuations are almost weekly, so they're trying to bump them up weekly to come out, so it's more accurate.
Most dealers are doing it more by intuition now.
Exactly.
Because they, like you said,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure it'll catch up because this is but now with all of these, like you said, all the programs, they're not going to give you the proper pricing.
Yeah.
It's going to give you, they're giving you the pricing from when these vehicles were available
When
versus
stocks, right?
Yeah,
what we're
sure.
going through right now.
I've met some. It's funny because I was talking to one of the general managers of a dealership who's been in the business for a long time, and he was always, he's an old school guy. He's been around for a while, and he was actually a little bit dismissive of any new technologies, for the algorithms that new managers come out with, or they start using them, and they don't have to actually put the industry knowledge that they should already have into pricing cars, selling cars. He would always say, "Oh, well, you price the car out based on what algorithm tells you on Viato, and you put it for sale, and then you sell the car at that price." And he was like, "Well, what if this car has this and that?" And the dealer and the manager or the sales guy's not going out to the car; he's not selling the car, like they used to. He's saying, "Well, this is the price that Viato tells me, or whoever, and that's the price I listed online."
They're not confirming the extra equipment and all that stuff. They just go for it.
That's that old school industry knowledge. It seems like it's actually kind of making a comeback. Like what happens when the electricity goes out, right?
Yep.
You kind of have to start back from scratch and using that industry knowledge that some guys just have in spades. So.
So do you guys think they're actually giving these salesmen quotas now to purchase used cars?
I don't sure. Was it?
I'm not sure either, but I would have to say probably yeah, because the reason they're sending the salesman out there, because if they don't send the salesman out there, salesmen are going to all be sitting in the showroom.
True.
Right.
Because they're not going to have the inventory to sell.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be low, maybe 3 or 4. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm just guessing.
Right.
But from what I read, it seems like each salesman is doing at least 5 cars
Yeah.
a month.
I would think quotas. They're aspirational, so it gives a little bit of momentum, a little bit of a push for sales guys to actually go do something. Anybody really to go do something, as far as acquisitions, like in the used car market too. So if they don't have them, I'm sure they probably will get them. If it's as successful as it is so far, it may become a permanent thing. You never know. It just may be.
Yeah, it might be.
Because obviously, with anything, it's all about delegating.
But believe it or not, I believe all of these things were in place at one point or another, or there was somebody out there doing it. They just never did it as in a group.
I was thinking about that too.
Yeah.
Because another thing I read is now they're going hard after the lease portfolios.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get. If you have a year or 2 left on your lease, they're trying to switch you out.
Mm-hmm.
Now they have a used car, you take a new car.
Right.
Yeah.
They're also going in hard on that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense. I talked to a couple dealers that were saying they were not getting any lease returns. They were not sending back to the factory. They're keeping them. They're selling them. They're not sending it. Obviously, all inventory is going up for sale.
I also heard that dealers are buying more vehicles with over 100,000 miles.
Yeah.
They have to now. Kind of running out of inventory, they started going to what I want to say before they would consider a junker or a wholesale car. Now they're going to have to end up keeping them because inventory is inventory.
As I heard a long time ago, there's an ass for every seat.
Exactly.
I don't know if you have to.
And that is very true. That is very true.
There is. I mean, hey, you need a car, especially with the way prices are going right now. I was reading that prices year over year were up 40%, 48%
year over year.
That's insane. I mean, pickup trucks are up 70%. So 48% year over year. So if you bought a $15,000 car, 2020 May, add 7,500 to it, you're looking at 22,500, for the same car.
Now, what worries me is what's going to happen once. What happens once everything kind of levels itself out? Now I bought this car. Am I going to be in the hole for that much more?
Well, and that's the funny thing is that it seems like they're not worried about it. Some big dealer groups, I mean, obviously they're trying to get as much inventory as they can, but it's selling so fast. It seems like that would imply that it would just stop.
Yeah.
The site, like all of a sudden they're flooded with new cars. the used car market plummets, and all of a sudden, they're just holding the bag on a bunch of cars.
Oh, and this new car thing is not going to change.
It
for another
doesn't.
couple of years anyway.
It doesn't seem like it's changed. Every time I thought about it when it started, I was like, this is weird, but it seems like it'll probably go away pretty quick. It's been months now, and I just don't.
I was reading about the chip shortage. The chip shortage. I mean, they're saying 2024 is going to be a shortage.
Yeah, it's crazy. Obviously, it's affected our business too. And what we're doing. As far as what are we doing? Used cars? Are we doing new cars?
We're not processing as many
new cars. I mean, new cars. Are the ratio of what we're actually processing, new to used, has fluctuated so much. Based on what we've been doing. So historically, it's interesting, but you got to keep moving.
Right.
They definitely have adapted to it because we have so many dealers that have had their best months ever.
Right.
Ever.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Especially profit-wise.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And, it's funny because the dealer recon process has to adapt to a lot to it. So, before they're just, PDIing cars and kicking them out, giving them a little quick wash.
Yep.
Now they're purchasing these cars. And like you were saying, they're purchasing record amounts of beat-up cars, 100,000-mile-plus cars that they're going to put front line. That detail department has got to be screaming.
And they're taking longer with the vehicles because now instead of a quick wash or whatever,
They
have to
got to go to safety check.
Detail, safety check, everything.
Yeah. So I mean, the recon process has got to be. Dealers have to beef up the recon process, which I'm sure many of them have. As far as what they're doing to these cars. So getting more techs in, getting more detail guys, and then kicking them out to us to take photos, which is the way it should be.
Right.
It's the way it should have always been. Like you said, hopefully maybe this process will stick. I mean, everybody's doing good. Everybody's making money off of it. Don't see why they don't buy.
I don't think it's their choice.
Well, that's true too. But they found a way.
Once those OEMs start popping out those cars, it's not going to be up. I mean, the dealers, if they had their way, I'm sure they'd probably keep it this way. Profits are up so much. It's not about volume. They're selling half as many cars or 75% of the cars and making twice as much. What's the point? Why wouldn't they want to keep it that way?
Can't believe with 10 cars you made $40,000.
Yeah, that's just an average of $4,000 gross profit each vehicle. That's very good at anywhere.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
Wow.
When inventory was flush, that's unheard of.
That was unheard of.
So there you have it, folks. You just heard it from John, the president, and Edwin Gomez, support specialist here. If you guys like what you see, please like, subscribe, and till next time. Thank you for stopping by.